Hi, I'm Patsy Thompson, and I'd like to show you how suspending your quilt can make your free motion quilting life a whole lot easier. When the quilt is suspended in air, it has no weight, so it's really easy to move the quilt around the machine bed, and you don't have to worry about the pull of gravity working against you. The quilt is literally weightless, so even a very large quilt is pretty easy to manage. My husband and I have been playing around with a variety of quilt suspension systems, and I'm really loving his latest incarnation. Let's take a close look at it so you can see how it works. It's really a very basic setup that is easily and quickly set up or taken down. There are only 3 parts to the system: the clamp, the backbone or frame, and the arms. The frame attaches to the sewing table with a clamp, and you decide how you'd like to position it behind your sewing machine. The arms are a separate unit that simply fits into the top of the frame or backbone. This is deliberately a loose-fitting joint because I want a portable system that I can take to a class or a quilting retreat. If I want to tighten this joint up, I can do that easily by wrapping a piece of tape around the base of the arm. Now the forearms angle out toward the sewing machine, and a short bungee cord with an attached spring clamp dangles from each forearm. You clamp a portion of the quilt with each clamp so that the quilt is raised above the table. The quilt only needs to be a couple inches above the table to feel weightless, but if you're like me and you want the quilt higher, that's really easy to do by simply tying a knot in the cord to effectively shorten its length. You can also adjust the frame higher by adjusting the base clamp. The beauty of this is you can customize this setup to whatever project you're working on and make it really comfortable for you. Now let's quilt something so you'll see what I mean. I'm just outlining the perimeter of this applique feathered wreath, and I've got invisible thread in my top needle. What I want you to see is that although this is a large quilt that's fairly heavy, it's very easy to move it across the machine bed. This is all because of the fact that the quilt is suspended. I don't know if you can tell, but in this section it is so easy to move the quilt that I'm only using my left hand to move it. That's a first for me. Once I finish outlining both the inside and outside perimeter of the wreath, I'm ready to move to a different quilt block. Notice that I can easily unclamp each clamp to release the quilt. I then reposition it, and once I've got my new area in front of me, I reclamp the quilt. Notice that I haven't had to get up out of my chair to do any of this, and the clamps are so lightweight that I can easily open them and close them with one hand. When I first started experimenting with suspending my quilt, I had much heavier clamps that were very hard to open and close, so really you just need a small lightweight plastic clamp and it's so much easier. Like most quilters, I make other kinds of quilted projects besides just regular quilts. This suspension system helps me with those as well. Here, I'm adding some final quilting to this table runner that I've just bound. It's narrow, so I don't need 2 clamps. I just attach 1 clamp and I'm ready to go. That one little clamp gives me the suspension I need to avoid any drag on the quilted project, and I can easily move it across the table. It really doesn't matter whether I'm working on a huge quilt or a small project. Suspending my quilt helps me whatever I'm making. So you've seen how a suspension system can help you with regular everyday free motion quilting. Are you wondering if it might have a role in helping you out with ruler work as well? Of course it helps with ruler work. When I'm working with rulers, I have the same issues with drag on the quilt, so ruler work is much easier when I do it with my quilt suspended. Remember, when you're doing ruler work, you want that same wonderful flowing stitched line, so anything that minimizes pull on the quilt will make ruler-guided free motion quilting easier as well. There you have it, quilt suspension in a nutshell. I'm so grateful to Ernie that he was able to build this for me, and now we'd like to make it available to you as well. If you're interested in a suspension system for yourself, visit our online store at patsythompsondesigns.com.